Hello again my Kiwis, hear the story, please enjoy mucho. Title: Am I the A for telling my mother-in-law she can't be in the room when I give birth? I, 30M, am 38 weeks pregnant with my husband James, 33M, and my first child. We had talked about having children before I transitioned, and both of us agreed that we wanted them. After I transitioned, he asked if I would be comfortable carrying our child, and if not, we could explore other options. I told him I still wanted to carry our child, as it was something I had always wanted to experience. I haven't started hormone therapy or had surgery because I wanted to wait until we had kids, and I didn't mind waiting. I feel somewhat okay in my body, and whenever I do feel dysphoric, James is always there to help me. James has been incredibly supportive throughout my transition. However, his family did not take it well. They continue to call me by my dead name and use the wrong pronouns. Whenever James or I correct them, they bring up that I don't have the right parts and don't look or sound like a man. Initially, this was very upsetting as I had been close with his family, but now I've gotten used to it and do my best to ignore it. James, however, can't get past it and often ends up arguing with them. When we told his family that I was pregnant, they were all excited, as this was the first baby in the family. My MIL was especially excited and began telling me about different things I needed to do to keep the baby healthy. As the months passed, I kept hearing comments about me being a mom, even though I made it clear that I want the baby to call me Papa or Dad. I've been told that I can't have a silly surgery to remove my breasts because I need them to feed my baby. They also said they're glad I came to my senses about pretending to be a man. We found out we were having a boy and quickly chose a name. We both love space, so we decided to name him Leo, after the constellation. My MIL wasn't happy with that name and started calling him Isaac. Despite correcting her numerous times, she wouldn't listen. She even bought a blanket, a few onesies, and a teddy bear with the name Isaac engraved on them, insisting that we would see she was right once we saw him. We decided to have a hospital birth, and my MIL demanded to be in the room to see her first grandchild being born. Neither James nor I want her there, we want it to be a special moment for just the two of us. She wouldn't take no for an answer. Last week, we were at their house for dinner, and she began bragging to the family that she would be there when I had the baby. James snapped and told her she wasn't going to be there, especially considering how she treated me during my transition. She got upset and yelled that this was an important moment for her, but James wasn't having it, and they got into a heated argument. I had enough and told her to back off and take no for an answer, or she would never see her grandson. She started crying, and I received multiple glares from the rest of the family. James and I left, and neither of us spoke during the ride home. When we got home, he apologized for how he acted and said he didn't mean to upset me. I told him it wasn't his fault and that he had every right to say something. We spent the night cuddled in bed, watching TV and feeling our son kick. In the last few days, I've received numerous messages from people telling me that I shouldn't have threatened my MIL, that I had no right to do that, and that I should apologize. Even some of our friends who heard the story from James' sisters messaged me. I replied, saying that she needed to apologize for overstepping and not listening to a word James or I had said. The responses were not kind, and I haven't replied further. I keep being bombarded with messages, and now James is as well. Did we go too far? Should we apologize for how we handled the situation? James says no, but I don't know what to do. Update. James went over to his parents' house a couple of days after my last post to pick up some things. When he came back home, he was visibly upset and told me that we were never going to see them again. I didn't argue with him, but later that night, I asked him what happened. All he said was, "I can't believe those people are related to me." I didn't press further and just hugged him tightly. A few days later, I went into labor. James and I didn't tell anyone and spent the next 34 hours together. When our beautiful baby boy finally arrived, it was just the two of us, exactly as we wanted, and it was amazing. I was able to go home 2 days after giving birth, and when we arrived, we found James' family in our living room. We never gave them a key to our house, only James and I have keys. James was furious and immediately started telling them to leave, but they refused. They tried to see Leo, but James pulled the cover on the baby carrier down to block their view. They started yelling and demanding to see Leo. James' mom called Leo Isaac again and claimed it was her right as his grandmother to see him. James handed the carrier to me and told me to take Leo to the bedroom. I didn't hesitate and left the room. I heard shouting from both James and his family. James threatened to call the cops if they didn't leave, and that finally got them to quiet down. About 15 minutes later, I heard the front door open and close, and James came upstairs. When he stepped into the bedroom, he broke down. He collapsed onto the ground and sobbed. My heart broke, and I hurried over to hold him in my arms. He kept apologizing to me over and over. When I told him it was okay and that we'd figure something out, he just kept apologizing. Once he calmed down, he told me he just wanted his family to be happy for him, to love and respect him. He kept wondering what he did wrong to make them treat him this way. As he began to get upset again, I stopped him and firmly told him that he didn't need them, that his family was right here with me and Leo, and that we weren't going anywhere. We spent the rest of the day in bed, talking about what to do, with Leo between us. Since that day, we've been in contact with the police, who have been incredibly helpful and kind about our situation. It's been hard on James, but he knows it's best for us to cut off contact with his family. We hope this will be resolved soon so we can focus on the future. For now, we're enjoying being a family of 3 and doting on our little boy every chance we get.